There's a silent moment, just a breath, between what hurts us and how we respond. That small pause can change everything. Most people rush through it. They let anger speak before wisdom has a chance to whisper. But imagine if, in that very second, you could see clearly, beyond the noise, beyond the pride, beyond the storm inside. That's where real power begins. Not in the reaction, but in the restraint. Not in shouting, but in silence. The pause is the doorway where chaos ends and clarity begins. And those who master it, master themselves. You felt it, that heat rising in your chest after an insult, that urge to reply before thinking, that moment where emotions grab the wheel. In the chaos of modern life, messages, arguments, deadlines, reaction has become our reflex. We live fast, speak faster, and regret fastest. But the Stoics saw this differently. They believed power doesn't come from speed, but from stillness. The pause is not weakness. It's the armor of clarity that shields you from self-destruction. The ancient Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, all spoke of that space between stimulus and response. They taught that wisdom lives there, in that breath before action. Marcus wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." To pause is to claim that power, to rise above impulse and see through emotion. The Stoic doesn't fight his feelings. He befriends them, observes them, and answers not from fire, but from reason. In this episode, you'll discover how to master the pause, not as hesitation, but as strength. You'll learn how silence becomes your weapon, patience your strategy, and reflection your shield. Each principle will take you deeper into the art of emotional control, the ancient skill that modern chaos has forgotten. By the end, you won't just understand Stoicism, you'll live it. Because wisdom doesn't arrive in the noise. It's born in the pause. Principle 1. Embrace the pause, strength in stillness. The Stoic learns to pause, not to suppress emotion, but to transform it. The pause is where awareness begins. It's the gap between being ruled by emotion and ruling emotion itself. In that silent second, your mind returns to command. You step back from the storm and realize the emotion is not you, it's a signal. And when you control that moment, you don't just stop the fire. You redirect it into wisdom, patience, and strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your judgment of it." The Stoic doesn't fight the outside world. He disciplines his inner one. That means, before reacting, he pauses. In that pause, he questions, what story am I telling myself right now? Because once you change the story, the emotion loses its grip. The pause gives reason a voice before emotion takes control. Imagine a warrior on the battlefield, arrows flying, chaos everywhere. Yet he stands still, waiting. He doesn't strike at the first impulse. He waits for the right opening. That stillness isn't weakness, it's mastery. Life's battles are the same. When emotion provokes you, hold the sword of silence. Because often, the most powerful move isn't to strike first, but to wait. The one who pauses commands the field, both within and without. In our age of instant messages, instant outrage, instant everything, the pause is rebellion. Before replying, before posting, before judging, breathe. The Stoic pause is a conscious act of leadership over yourself. 2 seconds of silence can save 2 hours of regret. In the pause, you reclaim your dignity, your control, your wisdom. The world doesn't need more reaction, it needs reflection. And that reflection begins the moment you stop and breathe. Principle 2. Time softens emotion, patience reveals truth. Time is the philosopher's filter. In the heat of the moment, anger feels righteous, pain feels permanent, disappointment feels like the end. But the Stoic knows, feelings are waves, not verdicts. When you give them time, they soften, and the truth begins to surface. Emotion in its first form is raw and loud, but time turns noise into wisdom. Every pause, every delay, is not avoidance, it's refinement. Patience transforms reaction into reflection. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This power includes control over the timeline of your reactions. You don't owe your emotions the stage the moment they arrive. Let them wait. Let them cool. Because if the feeling is true, it will still be there after the fire fades. The Stoic waits not to delay life, but to see it clearly, and clarity only arrives after the storm has passed. Picture a sculptor staring at a rough block of marble. At first, he sees chaos, hard edges, flaws, dust. But with patience, he shapes the unseen form within. Emotion is the same. It arrives unrefined, but time carves it into understanding. When you wait, anger becomes awareness, sadness becomes insight, and confusion becomes calm. The Stoic doesn't rush to strike. He lets time do part of the work. Because truth isn't found in reaction. It's revealed in reflection. In today's world of instant replies and emotional speed, patience is rebellion. When you feel anger or fear rise, don't rush to express it. Let it breathe. Sleep on it. Walk with it. Let time speak before you do. You'll often realize the storm was smaller than it seemed. The Stoic trains this discipline daily, delaying reaction to protect peace. Because time doesn't erase truth, it reveals it. And the one who waits sees more clearly than the one who rushes. Principle 3. Breathe before you speak. Calm over chaos. Between emotion and speech lies a sacred moment, the breath. That single inhale decides whether words will heal or harm. Most people skip it. They let emotion speak louder than reason. But the Stoic knows, a breath is not a delay, it's a decision. It signals to the body, I am safe. I choose presence over impulse. In that calm, your voice gains weight, your words find truth, and your silence earns respect. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we may listen twice as much as we speak." Breathing gives you that chance to listen, not just to others, but to yourself. Before you answer, before you react, breathe. That breath is your shield. It lowers the fire, softens the tone, and lets wisdom enter the room before your words do. The Stoic doesn't rush to respond. He earns the right to speak by mastering his calm. Imagine a blacksmith forging steel. He doesn't strike endlessly. He pauses, breathes, and lets the metal cool before the next blow. That breath between strikes gives the blade its strength. The same is true for words. Without the breath, your speech burns too hot. With it, your words become sharp but measured, strong but controlled. The Stoic's breath is the rhythm of mastery, the art of channeling emotion into eloquence. In a world that rewards speed, fast replies, instant opinions, viral outrage, the breath is your rebellion. Before you hit send, before you argue, breathe. A few seconds of stillness can prevent hours of regret. The Stoic doesn't use breath to escape conflict, but to elevate it, to speak from clarity, not chaos. Because every breath you take in awareness is a reminder. You are not the storm, you are the calm within it. Principle 4. Create space to reflect, silence as strength. Silence is not emptiness. It's space for truth to appear. In a noisy world, reflection feels unnatural, even uncomfortable. But the Stoic knows, without silence, wisdom has no room to speak. The pause between chaos and clarity is where the mind breathes. Reflection turns pain into perspective and reaction into response. The strongest voice is often the one that knows when not to speak. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most pain is born from unexamined thoughts. Reflection interrupts that spiral. It asks, is this true, or just a story my fear is telling me? The Stoic creates silence not to escape life, but to understand it. Through reflection, imagination slows, reality sharpens, and clarity returns. In that silence, strength begins. A painter steps back from the canvas to see clearly. Up close, every stroke looks chaotic, every color too harsh. But with distance, beauty emerges. Life is no different. Reflection is that step back, a retreat not from the world, but into understanding. The Stoic steps away from reaction to see the full picture. What looked like insult becomes insecurity. What seemed like failure becomes a lesson. Space reveals what noise hides. Modern life leaves no silence. Every gap is filled with screens, messages, and noise. But growth requires distance. Step back. Walk in nature. Sit without your phone. Journal before you react. It may look like stillness, but it's transformation in motion. In silence, emotion settles and meaning surfaces. The Stoic doesn't fear space, he creates it. Because only in silence can you hear the truth that chaos drowns. Principle 5. Stillness creates better choices, wisdom over urgency. When the mind is reactive, choices shrink. Everything feels urgent, personal, immediate. But when stillness enters, the horizon widens. You start to see options instead of obstacles. Stillness is not an action, it's deliberate awareness. It gives space for reason to lead and ego to rest. The Stoic understands that true wisdom doesn't rush. It listens, observes, and moves when the moment is right, not when the emotion screams. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The Stoic's refuge is inner calm, not external control. Stillness is that retreat, the pause where the soul gathers itself before responding. In stillness, you remember what truly matters. It's not passivity, it's preparation. The calm mind sees clearly, while the frantic one only reacts. Wisdom lives in the space that noise avoids. Think of a lake after a storm. While the wind rages, the water can't reflect anything clearly. But once the surface settles, the reflection returns, true and undistorted. The Stoic's mind works the same way. In reaction, everything looks distorted by emotion. In stillness, truth becomes visible again. Those who cultivate inner calm make better choices not because they know more, but because they see more. Our culture worships speed, instant messages, instant news, instant reactions. But speed without clarity breeds chaos. The Stoic practices slowing down, not because he's lazy, but because he values precision over panic. When faced with a decision, he breathes, observes, and asks, "Is this wise or just fast?" Stillness doesn't delay life, it refines it. The calm choice is always the strong one. Principle 6. The pause is power in motion, stillness as mastery. The pause is not the absence of action, it is action perfected. To pause is to reclaim direction, to move from instinct to intention. Every reaction spends power, every pause stores it. The Stoic understands that mastery is not measured by movement, but by control. The one who pauses redirects the flow of energy instead of wasting it in noise. In stillness, motion becomes meaningful. Seneca taught, "No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is within their power not to want what they don't have." The pause is where that wisdom lives. It's the space where desire transforms into gratitude. The Stoic pauses not to lose momentum, but to align with purpose. Before chasing more, he asks, "Do I need this? Or is it ego speaking?" Every pause refines the soul toward simplicity. Picture a martial artist, motionless, eyes focused, every muscle ready. He doesn't waste energy striking blindly. His pause is calculation, not hesitation. Then, when he moves, every gesture carries purpose. The Stoic's pause is the same, the moment between impulse and wisdom. It's what turns instinct into art, reaction into response. The pause is movement inward before motion outward, the invisible mastery behind every wise act. Modern life equates motion with progress, meetings, messages, endless tasks. But movement without meaning is noise. The Stoic reclaims direction by pausing before acting. Before saying yes, he asks if it aligns with his values. Before reacting, he checks if it serves peace. In that space, life slows and purpose returns. The pause doesn't stop motion, it transforms it into mastery. Principle 7. Don't rush clarity. Trust the still mind. Clarity cannot be forced, it must be allowed to surface. When the mind is stirred, truth hides beneath the waves. But if you wait, the water clears, and what once seemed chaotic becomes simple. The Stoic doesn't rush understanding. He trusts that the mind, when given space, reveals what is real. Wisdom is not found in speed, but in stillness. When you stop chasing clarity, it comes to you. Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone can show me that what I think or do is not right, I will gladly change, for I seek the truth." But truth cannot be seen in a rushing mind. The Stoic pauses before deciding, before judging, before reacting, not out of fear, but out of respect for truth. He waits for emotion to settle, for reason to return. In that patience, wisdom finds its voice. Imagine a traveler walking through fog. The more he panics, the less he sees. But when he stops, breathes, and waits, the path reveals itself. Life is the same. Clarity arrives not when you push, but when you pause. The Stoic trusts this process. He knows that time and patience reveal what force never can. Sometimes, the most courageous act is not to move forward, but to wait for the fog to lift. We live in a world addicted to answers, but wisdom requires waiting. When you're confused, don't rush to decide. When emotions rise, don't rush to speak. Sleep, breathe, walk, reflect. Clarity comes quietly to those who stop chasing it. The Stoic mind is not empty, it is steady. And from that steadiness, truth appears. The one who trusts the still mind never acts from chaos, only from clarity. Every principle leads here, the pause. Between stimulus and response lies the birthplace of freedom. The Stoic does not rush to act. He waits, observes, and sees. In that silence, emotion transforms into clarity and reaction becomes choice. The pause is not weakness. It is discipline refined into strength. Through stillness, patience, and reflection, you gain mastery over yourself, and thus, mastery over life. You are not your anger. You are not your impulses. You are the space between them. Every time you pause before reacting, you rewrite the story. You stop giving control to others and reclaim it for yourself. The Stoic's power is quiet, but unbreakable, the calm that commands storms. Each breath, each silence, each moment of restraint builds the fortress of your inner peace. This is strength disguised as serenity. Begin small. In your next argument, pause. Before you reply, breathe. When frustration rises, step back. Every pause is a repetition of inner training, a rep for your soul. Over time, you'll find that peace doesn't come after control, it is control. Write it down. Reflect daily. Practice stillness. The world may move fast, but you don't have to. True wisdom belongs to those who master time, not those who chase it. Remember, the pause is where your power begins. It's not the loudest move, but the wisest. Speak less. Reflect more. Let your calm become your weapon, your silence your wisdom, your patience your crown. Because when you master the pause, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, nothing can master you. This is Stoic Miracles, where philosophy becomes power and stillness becomes strength.